More coming your way from Indy, where the NFL Scouting Combine carries on. And as usual, news is taking over here with the league in town. We'll update you on all of it in just a moment with Adam Schefter. Now, today, the quarterbacks spoke to the media. Shedeur Sanders made a case for being the first quarterback taken, and you'll hear that from him in just a bit. Plus, his message to his dad, Dion. And Cam Ward, another top QB, revealed why he decided not to throw at the Combine tomorrow. Plus, the reason he thinks he should be the first overall pick. But we'll start with some breaking news out of Los Angeles. Adam Schefter, we have a decision on Matthew Stafford's future. What do we know?
Laura, the Rams and Matthew Stafford reached agreement today on a restructured contract. They're still sorting through the final details. I would expect this to be a one-year deal to keep him in Los Angeles, where he was looking at 2-year deals with the Giants, with the Raiders, with some of the other teams that were talking to him. And in the end, despite all these talks, despite the fact that at times it seemed like he might wind up in Las Vegas, he might wind up in New York with the Giants, he could wind up in Pittsburgh, I think in the end, when there was any time that it came close to even happening, and both sides had to ponder what it would be like without the other, they never could get themselves to do it. And ultimately, they decided to stick together in the end, to run it back for one more season. And the truth of the matter is, the Rams are a better team with Matthew Stafford at quarterback, and Matthew Stafford is better served being in Sean McVay's offense in Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's well said as you think about how all this played out. Welcome to NFL Live. We're so glad that you're with us today. Adam Schefter with us throughout the show. Mina Kimes, Louis Riddick, Field Yates joins us in moments with more on the draft prospects here. Mina, what do you think about this decision with Stafford?
Common sense prevailed. I mean, Louis, we were talking about this yesterday, and we could not wrap our minds around why the Rams would move on from Matthew Stafford. We could wrap our minds around other teams pursuing Matthew Stafford, but that side of the equation never made sense. As Adam said, it's a win-win because for Stafford himself, you get to stay with Sean McVay, you get to stay with Puka Nacua. It's a good team, and it's a team that's ahead of schedule, and I think that's what's so great about the Rams getting this done early. Now they can focus on their other priorities, signing their left tackle, Alaric Jackson, filling in some of the holes, maybe cornerback and whatnot. They went into the playoffs last year. They should do it again this season.
Yeah, you know, the best deals usually have the characteristic of someone always feels as though they didn't get exactly what they wanted, but in the end, you know what's best for both parties involved, and that's what it sounds like. You're right. I'm sure Matthew values himself much higher or much more, you know, at a much higher rate than maybe just a one-year deal to run it back this year, and then we'll see what happens in 2026. And he should, because he's one of the best quarterbacks in professional football, and the Rams know this too. But their job is to kind of look down the road and try and project future performance and protect the club. I get all that. But in the end, as Adam articulated, I think when they both probably sat back and went, what would this look like if he wasn't here? And he started thinking, what would it look like if I moved out of L.A. and like went to Vegas or went to the Giants? They were like, no. We'll just kind of like mend this thing and then go on from there.
The grass isn't always greener, right? So, Adam, you've been telling us that was the first domino that had to fall in this whole picture around the NFL when it comes to quarterbacks. So now, which quarterback should we be looking for next?
Well, listen, there were 3 teams that checked into Matthew Stafford primarily. It was the Raiders, it was the Giants, and the Steelers. Now that Matthew Stafford is remaining in Los Angeles, I would expect the Raiders to explore possibilities with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, as well as Sam Darnold. I would expect the New York Giants to look into the possibility of Aaron Rodgers staying in the New York metropolitan area and potentially signing with the Giants. Now, they'll look at other options as well, but Aaron Rodgers will be one of the options that the Giants investigate. And the Pittsburgh Steelers all along have been talking to Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, saying all along, we would like to bring back one of those quarterbacks. So you get an idea of what some of these teams are going to be doing. But Matthew Stafford always was going to be the first piece. Nobody was going to do anything until we knew where he was going. And if he had gone somewhere else, it would have shifted the dynamics of the offseason for all quarterbacks. Where he went will help impact and influence where all these other quarterbacks go this offseason.
It's kind of like musical chairs, and a chair just got pulled out, and suddenly it's Russell Wilson and Matthew, or no longer Matthew Stafford, Sam Darnold and Justin Fields circling it. Stafford was so far and away the best possible option for any of those teams. Don't blame them for making calls. Now I think it's Sam Darnold. Yep. The issue, though, is not just about who is the best and how much are we paying him. Some of the teams you mentioned will also likely be drafting a quarterback. So I think you have to think about this in conjunction with each other. Who do we want to bring in as a bridge quarterback? What kind of contract are we willing to give them in terms of length if we plan on drafting someone?
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of the quarterbacks who are kind of left without a seat right now, you're probably not really liking the seats that are left. And I think you're sitting there going, man, that was the one place, LA was the one place where I could go and I could be protected. I have a strong running game. I have a great coach. I have a strong defense. We're on the up and up. We almost beat Philadelphia. Now you're looking at the Giants. You're going, where have they ranked in pass block win rate the past 3 years? Like near the bottom?
Yeah.
You're looking at Vegas and you're going, we don't really know what that's going to look like. We don't know what Chip Kelly's version of his offense is going to look like. If you're Sam Darnold, like that's the guy for me that right now I'm sitting there going, where does he think the best fit for him is? Because LA was perfect, right? It's almost like you could walk in there, you're speaking their verbiage right away. Now, for him in particular, what does it look like for him? What's the best fit for him?
I think the loser with Matthew Stafford going back to LA was Aaron Rodgers. I think that was the likely landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is looking at the Giants, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as opposed to playing for Sean McVay, where he owns a home in the Malibu area. That would have been ideal.
The reason why I say Sam is only because, look, Aaron's near the end, right?
Yeah.
He sees the writing on the wall. He knows he's got maybe a year or two. But Sam just had that breakout year, right? He found the perfect kind of system, communication style with a coach that he needs in order to keep his game where it is. But where does that come from now if it's not back in Minnesota? Where does that come from?
Well, as Mina mentioned, there are these quarterback-needy teams that may have to look to the draft now instead of some of these veterans or even a Sam Darnold type. So along those lines, Cam Ward was out here today speaking to the media. He also arrived here, and he had a lot to say to everybody. Now, he's the first quarterback off the board for many draft analysts. Let's hear what he had to say. I visited with him earlier today. Cam, how have your interviews and conversations been with teams here at the Combine?
It's been great, especially being able to see old players I played with in the past, like Josh Kelly, Kyle Williams when I played at Wazoo. Be able to catch up, guys like Ted Johnson in Oregon, create a relationship with him in just a day. So, it's been good to see all of us, see the fans out here showing love.
What's been the most surprising question a team's asked you?
I would probably say what I like to do for fun, because all I do is fish and play the video game. So they know I'm a simple guy. So that's how I got answered.
When there's so much conversation about you being the number one overall pick, how do you stand up to that and say, yeah, I'm deserving of that and should be the first quarterback at the very least taken off the board?
I think I do deserve it. I worked for it. I told myself when I was 6, this is what I wanted to do. It was a big reason of why I worked so hard. Just wanted to put myself in a position to be selected so high. God, he came through. And I just know my journey's not done yet. I'm just halfway there.
Are you going to throw here?
No, I'm not going to throw here. I think, 5 years of film showcase everything I can do. But I'm looking forward to throwing in my pro day with the best receiver corps in the country.
Cam Ward was one of the best players in college football last year, no doubt. He was top 2 in the FBS in touchdowns, 20-yard completions, passing yards, and total QBR. In fact, he set the Miami single-season record in both passing touchdowns and yards. Field Yates jumping in with us here. He'll be with us throughout the rest of the show as well, and we'll get to you in a second, Phil. But, Mina, let's just move past wherever Cam Ward goes, right? We'll wait and see what that is.
Yeah.
But let's focus in on what he needs to succeed. Is there a certain type of system or scheme that makes the most sense to you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a bit. And a quarterback who I believe he has some similarities to is Jordan Love with the Packers in terms of the arm talent, some of the off-platform throwing ability, the aggression. So I would actually look at that offense and steal from them, and it's a great offense. A few things that come to mind. The deep throw rate. Jordan Love's second highest deep throw rate in football last year. Cam Ward he can throw to all parts of the field, make the difficult high-level NFL throws. I'm talking about the hole shots, the opposite hash outs. He can do that. It has to be a part of your offense. RPOs, another thing that the Packers do a lot. Ward is a fantastic RPO quarterback. Again, I talked about the arm angle. Some of the more creative arm angles you'll see, very Jordan Love-like on tape, frankly. And then, the way LaFleur uses motion, frankly, to give him answers, different formations. He puts him in a pistol sometimes. I think Ward could do that as well. There's just a lot about that offense that I love and a lot that I could see Cam Ward doing as well in the NFL.
I think the cool thing about Cam and the reason why you're talking about a guy and why you talk about guys being number one overall picks is because they're so scheme diverse. They give you so many options. Look, Cam, you can't put him in the box of just being